Hi, everybody. Welcome to Draining the Swamp. Mel and I are actually streaming at the same time together. I haven't done that in a while, so we're doing that together tonight.
I
And
have it streaming. I have it streaming to my channel. I'm on Sherry's show, but it's streaming to my channel. So
right, it's on streaming on both of us, so you can go to either channel to watch. Make sure you go to both channels, like, subscribe, and share. And I finally went over my 10,000 yesterday.
hey,
Yay! I was so excited. It was Saturday night when I was doing the slumber party. And in the middle of the show, suddenly everybody's like, "Congratulations, congratulations!" And I'm like, "What are they talking about?" And somebody said, "You hit 10,000." I was like, "Oh my
so
god!" I had no clue.
my prediction is that by the end of the summer you'll have 20,000. How's that?
Well, let's hope so. Let's hope
I
so.
remember when I
Next goal is 15.
I
So
remember when I was trying for 20 and I was like, and I hit it. I was like, whoa! I never thought in a million years that I would get over 100,000. I never. And I
yeah, I
told Linda
mean,
Grindle when I first met her, you're going to get over 100,000 subscribers, and she's like, I don't think so.
yeah, I remember her saying, "I'm not going to get that high," and a
I
lot
get
of
a
us were
shake.
like,
I
"Yeah,
get a
you are."
yay, but I would have never dreamed. Um, so at some point you'll get your silver
You
100.
know, there was a time when I didn't think I'd hit 100, much less anything else. It's like, no, nobody, I'm not ever going to get that many people on.
I remember when
So,
Linda kept encouraging me to do a YouTube channel. I had one, but I only had 350 followers, and I thought I was doing well with that. And it was during COVID, and it was my friend Gunnar Goebel in California who told me about Linda. And we kept trying to connect, and finally we did. And I said, "Can we do FaceTime?" And she said, "No, my hair's in curlers." And I said, "At least you've got hair." And she said, "This is our first meeting." And she read me and I read her. She said, "How do you feel about Donald Trump?" I said, "You mean the Cheeto headed expletive, 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 expletive?" And she said, "I want you on my channel." So I mean, she told me, "You'll get really busy," and I had a staff of myself and two other people, and we weren't that busy because everything was closed down for COVID. So we had the staff to
yeah.
handle everything, and here we are. So
Well,
I
Linda was one of the first ones I ever started watching on YouTube during COVID, during the lockdown. I actually found her through Kirsten, Third Eye Champagne. She got sent through my feed, and so I saw Kirsten, and then I saw Linda, and I thought, oh, okay, let me go check her out, and fell in love with her and started watching her. And then Aiden came along about a year later, and he'd been on the scene, I don't know, maybe like a month or two, and all of a sudden he's got Linda showing up on his channel. And so we're all like, "How did you get Linda on your channel?" He's like, "I emailed her." And we're like, "Wait, you just emailed her?" And she said yes. And he's like, "Yeah, all I did was email her and said, 'Hey, I'm new. Would you come on my channel?' And she said yes." And she probably maybe regretted it because we all started bombarding her with email requests to come be on our channel. And so
I
that's
get
how
so
we
many
meet.
requests, and I can't answer them all, unfortunately. But you know, um, yeah, Linda's helped a lot of people get started in the community. I've helped people get started in the community
Absolutely.
as well.
Absolutely.
Linda
Um,
is she's a dear friend. We should all get a
she's
shirt.
been
We love
so
Linda.
generous with her time.
She's
She's
incredible.
very
She's
generous with
kind.
her.
She's excellent psychic. She's one of
Yeah.
the best I've ever worked with, if not the best. She's a good friend, and she's there when times are good, but when times are bad, she's there as well.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
know,
Absolutely. I know when my son had his heart attack 2 years ago, like within the first 2 days, she was one of the first batch of people that reached out to me and, "What do you need? What can we do?" And, um, which was greatly appreciated. And, uh, and just about any time I email her and ask her if she's got a free afternoon to come on, she says yes. Once in a while, our schedules don't flush if I get a day off during the daytime during the week, but it's wait, who was that? Squeebles 5951. That's a new name. I don't know if that's on your channel. I think that's on your channel. Welcome to the show.
IG,
Ella and
go ahead. I'm sorry.
I was going to say, you and I've been doing shows together for what, about 2-3 years now?
Right.
Something like that.
I see Jeffrey Stein. Hi, Jeff. I see Lucci DeLisi. Hi, Lucci. I see
Karen Tapioca Thievery's here. And, and Jackie is here.
Jackie Readings. Hi, Jackie. Let's see.
Maureen is here.
Maureen D'Amico. Hi, Maureen. Let's take a look. Cannot find a name. I love that. Dorian. Hi from Albuquerque. Let's see here. Oh, yeah, we've got some Diane Miller.
We got a bunch of folks in here. We've already got 238 in the room.
Good.
So far out. So let's do a little housekeeping first. Let me flip over here to banners. First off, to contact Mel, you can go to his YouTube channel. You can go to his website, www.meldor.com, or you can call his office at 847-590-5411. You've got, what tours do you have up and open right now?
Well, we're leaving for the Danube on May the 10th. That one is sold out.
Okay, that one's sold out.
Let's see. Galapagos is sold out. I'm waitlisting people. I do have openings for Iceland, but here again, the airspace is limited because everybody and their brother is going to see the eclipse. So if you come to Iceland, call my office, 847-590-5411, ASAP. I mean, don't put it off. And now I'm getting ready to start selling next year. I don't know exactly what I'm going to do for next year yet. I think a cruise on the Mekong River in Vietnam.
That would be interesting.
People that have gone on that trip.
The only people I've ever known that's been on that river was when there were bullets flying.
No, this is the people I know that have gone on the trip and they really love it because it goes to Vietnam, Laos, and Cambodia.
Yeah,
they stop in places like Angkor Wat. It's supposed to be incredible. And then I'm thinking about maybe South Africa, and then maybe a yacht tour up the Croatian coast. So, right?
Very good, very good.
Somebody just
now, if you're still keeping up with the forensic accounting for the 2024 elections, there is electiontruthalliance.org. They are doing phenomenal work. They've got all kinds of new evidence that's coming out, not just from 2024, but for special elections and stuff after that election they've been working on. They're a nonprofit, so if you have a couple of bucks, send it their way. Or they're also asking for volunteers to come and help them with a lot of the busy work that's involved with doing statistical data and all that stuff. And so if you're interested, go to their website, check them out. They drop usually a couple of videos a week. They have their own YouTube channel. There's also smartelections.us. They do the same thing as Election Truth Alliance, except they're out on the West Coast. And the two of them, they share information back and forth. They will go on podcasts together, like other podcasts. They'll send somebody from each group and go on together, which, shows them working together, which is really good. And that's it for the elections. And of course, AndronikiSkincare.com. The past week, I've gotten more compliments about your skin looks so nice. I'm like, I use Androniki Skincare. That's what I use.
It's the best. It is.
And it is the best I've ever used. And trust me, I have spent a fortune on all kinds of skincare in my 60-something years of life. And so it's nice to have something that actually works. I also promote otterspirit.com. They make those beautiful beaded bracelets, which I can't wear because I got a brace on my hand. But they're now making spheres, and this one is a, solanite. Um, so I love this one. It's got that wild strip through it. But they're making spheres now as well as the jewelry. And for every 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 item you purchase, for every order you make, some of it goes to the wild otters of Monterey Bay, who are on the endangered species list. And also with some jewelry and stuff. My friend Jules, who has her own Etsy store, handcrafted designs, she makes beautiful jewelry that's all handmade, and she's now making bath salts and stuff. So if you're, it comes with a little jar with its own little thingy and really cute. So she's really good, very talented, and she lives just down the street from me until she moves, and then she's not going to be just down the street from me anymore. Um,
I want to
but
say hi real quick to Sabrina Savard. Sabrina, she's a wonderful,
yes,
wonderful astrologer. She
I
said
don't
for
have the cards out. Darn it.
she said for breaking news, she sent me this. It said for your show tonight with Sherry. This is from the Santa Fe, New Mexican. It says New Mexican Department of Justice begins search of Epstein's Zorro Ranch. The current owners of the Santa Fe County property gave consent to conduct the search, Department spokesman Lauren Rodriguez said. So the Zorro Ranch is being searched.
Well, it's about time. There's been a lot of talk about it. I haven't really talked that much about it because I just haven't picked up anything on it. Um, and I haven't read a lot about it. That a lot of it seemed very like conspiracy theory ish. And so I just kind of avoided it, and I was waiting for more information to come to light. And so that's, just one of the many things I try to uh, be aware. I don't want to spread anything conspiracy theory unless I get a hit on something. If I get a hit on something,
I don't ascribe to conspiracy theories, but
yeah, I mean,
thanks Sabrina for sharing that.
absolutely.
There's a lot of conspiracy theories surrounding it, but I don't know how much they're going to find. I don't think they're going to find too much.
Yeah, I've not picked up anything on it. Every time I've looked at it, I just get blank space. So I figure, well, when it's time for me to know, they'll tell me something. I did have a very significant thing happen to me Sunday afternoon. I was doing a live stream with Amy. Um, she's been on with me and Mel before for one of these episodes. She and I were doing a live stream, and evidently in the process of us reading, it looked like I was suddenly like falling out. My head went down and came back up, and something else spoke out of me. I could literally see myself, like I was sitting next to myself, looking at myself, going, what the hell is going on? Amy says she saw the flip when it happened and that my voice changed. And I've had several other people that have messaged me that said, yeah, I saw it when it happened. It looked like you were dozing off, but then you like sat up and a different kind of voice came out. And I don't know, something about a grand piano and flooding and 3 rings and you're out. I'm like, what the hell does that mean? Nobody said anything. So whoever's supposed to hear that message, I'm assuming will hear it. If it means something to you, let me know just so I'll understand it. Because that Arthur called it a step in. I was telling Arthur about it last night because I do backstage for his solo show. And he was like, "Oh, you had a step in," and I'm like, "What is that?" And he says, "That's where they just step in and take over."
I think you're a trance medium. I can do
So.
years ago. I did trance work. but you know, um, typically when it happened like that, it was one of my guides going through or coming through,
And
and
maybe it was. I don't know.
it sounds more like a guide.
Yeah, yeah, it didn't feel evil or anything like that. It didn't feel wrong. It was just
It
kind
sounds
of,
more like a guide. And so what you say
yeah.
from now on is, don't take me into the trance unless I want to go there. Uh, so it's a guide. That's what I pick up. So, um,
Okay, that works for me. I mean, like I said, it didn't feel like there was anything wrong. It was just weird because it just
it's like
never
it's
happened
close to
before.
personalizing. And when I would do it, I would total amnesia. But it's funny because it's like you're over there and there's something here and you're supposed to be here, but you're over there. If that makes any sense.
Right? No, no, I get it. Yeah. I mean, it was just strange because it was like 1 minute I was talking with Amy, and then the next minute it was like I was sitting next to myself, looking at myself, talking. And I'm thinking, what is going on here? And then it was right back to normal. And it just kind of is. My guides love to do stuff like that to me when I'm not expecting it.
Well, they try to get your attention. If you don't pay attention,
Yeah,
another.
I guess so.
Can I share this? This is Bunny Young. We talked about this on my show today with Linda, and I think this is really good, Bunny. It says, "Thank you for what you do. Love what you do. I have family in the Middle East. The United States said you're on your own. Good luck. So my family has been in bomb shelters and said, don't believe anything. Don't believe anything Dumpty on stuff he says he lies." Um, yeah,
Yeah, I saw that earlier.
they were the one that told Americans call this hotline, and they didn't. It was a busy signal, or they told them we can't help you. So you got to call this number for them to say they can't help you. I mean, Bunny, just for the record, my guides tell me your family will be safe. So
Yes. Yes, I don't. I read that earlier when I first logged in, and I was like, that's got to be scary when you know you've got family somewhere directly in the line of fire. And thank you, Suki Lau. I appreciate the donation. You're so sweet. And
let's see here.
let's see here. Oh, we got a
Stargazer's got a good one up here.
yeah, I had seen that. I was trying to see if I could find there it is. Republican House member Kevin Kiley has left the GOP and declared himself an independent. Is this just to win re-election, or might he actually vote against Trump and his agenda?
I pulled the Nine of Cups. He's contemplating. He contemplated for a long time what to do. Moralistically, he just couldn't go with Trump's lies and the lies of the regime and some of the rhetoric that the so-called Republican Party or the MAGAs go along with. And he heard what people were saying behind Trump's back, but yet publicly they because they don't want to make Trump angry. So I'm glad he grew a set, and it's him deciding to do what he feels is right. And my guides are telling me that he will vote against Trump and Trump's agenda without being fearful. Uh, my feeling is there's a lot of deception around him, a lot of backbiting, backstabbing when it comes to Trump, and people, again, what they're saying behind Trump's back and then what they're doing to his face. It's just, whoa. So this guy, he'll run as an independent, and my feeling is he'll win. Trump will go against him like he did Marjorie Taylor Greene, but I see this guy winning.
Yeah, I drew a couple of cards. The first two I got was environmental concerns and extreme influences. So I think he's got some questions and some people talking about, hey, we need you to do something about this. And of course, Right now, the Republican Party doesn't want to hear anything about that. And then I got a yes positive card, and I got a compromised harmful card. So I think he feels like he's more compromised and creates more harm when he's with the GOP than being against the GOP. Um, it definitely feels like he's just tired of the BS. And he's like, I'm here to do a job. Let me do my job, which, yeah, I get it.
And he's going to worry about funding, but I see him getting the funding he needs. Look at this. That's the Six of Pentacles. So it would, and he's going to be talking about programs to help the poor. He's going to be very anti, these illegal deportations.
Yeah.
So also, there's a group in the House and a group in the Senate that are going to get together, Democrat and Republican alike, and start and want to get a special counsel to investigate Kristi Noem and that 220 million.
Well, I know I watched earlier today, there were several clips of Jamie Raskin during a committee hearing, and he was not pulling his punches. He was flat out making her sit and watch the videos of Ms. Good and Mr. Preddy that were unalived on the streets of Minneapolis, and then followed up with her coming right on camera afterwards and saying they were domestic terrorists, which was not the truth. And she looked quite sick of the stomach by the time he got through with her, to say the least. And
I saw a video by her cousin, and it said that in that movie, what was it, the one who had the pyrokinetic powers, was it Carrie? Sissy Spacek and Carrie, I think, when they put the bucket of blood on her head. Remember that at the prom? And that was horrible. But they said whenever Kristi Noem watched that, she would laugh because she thought it was funny. And so, he talked about, it's her cousin. He was on TikTok or something, and that she had, that she called her watch. No, she got a purse. Instead of saying she got a Versace, she said she got a Versace instead of a Versace. She couldn't even say it. And then she told somebody in the family that her watch was worth more than this particular family member. So he was just talking about the different things she's pulled, and it's not very. He said she's mean. She's not nice at all.
No, she's definitely a mean girl.
But I see, senators, both Republican and Democrat, in the House and in the Senate. Now Pam Bondi is going to be the next one to go, because they're already on her like white on rice. And Pam Bondi tries to deflect it. And she made, I think it was a House member or a senator, I think it was a House member, really mad. And it was almost a screaming contest. And I think more House people and Senate people are going to start coming after Pam Bondi now, because she tries the same thing that Kristi Noem tried, deflecting,
just talking nonsense and not shutting up and just keeping talking. Yeah.
Well, more like, when this lady called her on something, she was like, what Pam Bondi did was investigating a lot of these House members and members of Congress. So when they call her on something, she goes into what she had on them. And she said to this lady, "Oh, you're against this war in Israel, but yet you voted for something for Israel, and blah, 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 and you're very anti-Israel, and you're this." And the lady said, I forget if she was a House member or a senator. She said, I lost a grandparent, or my parent lost their parent in the Holocaust. And Pam Bondi just tried to keep doing her rhetoric and talk over, and it didn't work. So I see either she resigns or articles of impeachment. And this whole Epstein thing is nothing more than wag the dog. It's to divert I mean, I'm sorry, this whole Iran thing is divert from the Epstein files. I
Yeah,
said,
any time that a big dump is getting ready to happen to the files,
all right,
he pulls a stunt. You know, it's he kidnaps Maduro, he attacks Argentina, he attacks Iran. I mean, it's like um anything that has any merit with the Epstein files, the minute they get ready to drop it or within a day after they have dropped something, he's doing something totally chaotic. You know, squirrel, look over there and see what's happening. And it's the amount of damage he is doing because of that. It's like, you know, you're a grown adult. Just accept the fact that you're a deviant and you've done deviant things. And
he'll always blame everybody else. You know, it's
oh
funny.
yeah,
The last time this came to a head was when he pulled Maduro out of Venezuela, and then he's like, "I'm controlling Venezuela." No, he's not. You
yeah,
know,
no,
and the Iranians aren't going to stop fighting. I can tell you that right now. So everybody's saying this is going to be over soon, but I think Trump might drag it out a bit.
yeah,
I mean, you know, he lied already. There was that Tomahawk missile that hit that school, that girl's school, and he said it was done by Iran, but yet the video showed it was clearly a U.S. Tomahawk missile. You know, oil prices are surging, and then Trump said, um, that. How did he say it? Well, it's just a temporary increase in oil prices, and it's a very small price to pay for global peace and safety. You know, the thing in Venezuela, it's for global peace and safety. Everything is
yeah,
for
he keeps saying that, but he's not providing peace and safety. He's doing the opposite. You
doing the
know,
opposite.
it's the absolute opposite of that. Yeah, Maria says, asking how does a trial look for Maduro on the 17th regarding his accusations.
I hope they didn't judge surf because the judge is going to say they don't have anything and say
Yeah,
these charges need to be dismissed.
yeah. I mean, it's it is truly astounded me. I mean, he did it the first time in, but not very effectively. This time around, it's like he's gotten the right people around him, and he just like goes off the deep end and does and says the wildest things. And instead of somebody stepping up and being like, "No, sir, actually, that's incorrect," they all just go right behind him and say exactly what he said. You know, it's I keep thinking back around the first time he was in office when that stupid hurricane was originally heading in one direction and then it sheared off and started going in another direction. And oh no, he took the map in his Sharpie and he redrew the map showing it and then insisted that that's the way the map came to him, you know, and everybody's like, no, sir, that's not
That's
correct.
not how it happened. Um,
And he wound up defunding most of NOAA because of it.
well,
We lost most of our
There's
satellites.
he had already planned to defund NOAA anyway. He just used as an
Right.
excuse. Don't, you know, they tell us, like with Christy Nome, like when those people were killed in Minneapolis, don't believe what your eyes or your ear, what your eyes saw, your ears heard, because here's what we're saying. And they
Right.
try to
Yeah.
question that. And it's like, no, wait a minute, that's not what we saw. And people are wise to it now.
Well, it's like his consistent uh, thing about the January 6th. Oh, it was a day of love and everyone was so loving and caring. It's like, what planet were you on? Because that's not what we watched live on air on every network and online. You got the, depending on what camera was shooting, depending on what angle you were on, but we all saw the same thing, you know. So, and it's the willingness of people who follow him that are willing to just completely check out what they are actually seeing and witnessing, and just, oh well, no, he said this. And it's like, but that's not what happened. You didn't
You
you
know, it's
watch
like
it?
Dr. Lena Rodriguez said, people are, his followers wouldn't pull away all at once. It would be just chipping away, and that's exactly what's going on. I asked I asked my guys to show me in the cards, when is he going to be gone? And I pulled the Three of Cups, which is a celebration. Uh,
Yeah.
I see
Um,
people celebrating when he's gone, and I see the number three with that. So it could be 3 days, 3 weeks, 3 months, but there's something big coming in April. I don't know what it is, but he's not going to finish out his full term in office. And then I heard today, grab this one, that this really got me. Um, let's see. Um, that Trump says he's holding up signing bills. He's not going to sign any more bills until he gets the SAFE Act passed, the voting bill that SAFE Act passed, the
yeah,
Safe Voting Act passed. And the reason for that is the midterms are coming up. And they're like, wait a minute, I don't think they're going to cave into it. And if they do, they'll get voted out of office. They'll be like,
absolutely.
so he's holding everything hostage because he's having a temper tantrum because he's not getting what he wanted. And even if he does sign the bill, the Supreme Court will say he cannot do that. And my card shows the Six of Wands, meaning a victory, not for Trump, but for the American people. So
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. Let me see what I get here. Trade war,
there you go.
shadow operation,
It's a crappy
relentless determination. that's
That's true.
that's definitely him. Um, so
Typical Avery wants to know, is the feud between Trump and Tucker Carlson fake? I don't think so.
wait, what is? Oh, I wasn't even aware there was a feud between them, but
There was. I don't think it's fake.
no, they've never really gotten along.
I think that Tucker Carlson is starting to realize that he drank the Kool-Aid.
Well, there's a bunch of them, I think, that are starting to realize that they've drunk the Kool-Aid, and distractions, illusions, downgraded. Yeah, you downgraded yourself. What else we got? The greater good. Definitely not getting the greater good with him. So, um, I mean, there's just I shuffled all my cards real good before we started, so I'm trying to make sure I don't put them back on the top because it's hard to shuffle with this.
Did you
They
hear?
go all over the place.
Did you hear anything about Zelensky agreeing to help the United States? I thought Vance went to him and asked for help. I don't know if he agreed.
I hadn't heard anything.
I haven't either. Because he's got the anti-drone things that United States wants or needs. I don't know. I'm just not feeling Zelensky doing it, or if it is, it's limited. You know. But if he did, it wouldn't be for Trump. It would be against Russia because Russia supports Iran.
Yeah, that's what. I think that's what's confused me the most about this sudden attack on Iran is because Iran and Russia are kind of, frenemies, so to speak. And the current occupant is fairly careful about not doing anything that's going to make the Pootie man get upset. So,
What's Putin going to say about it? Because Trump didn't really say too much about it when he invaded Ukraine, and so but it came out that Russia is giving Ukraine our military coordinates in Iran and our military coordinates in the Middle East.
yeah.
I'm sorry, not Ukraine. Russia is giving Iran our military coordinates in the Middle East. Uh,
right. And it makes one wonder, well, how the hell does Russia have that information? Well,
well,
I
because
mean,
Trump gave it to him. That's how.
that's it. Exactly.
So all that's coming out. Um, but I think that um, Ukraine has got some secret weapons they're not talking about. So good.
Yeah.
But so,
Uh,
there's an old saying, if you're the enemy, if you're my enemy, but then if you're the enemy and my enemy, you're my friend.
yeah.
So I think Zelensky, if he helps, it's not going to be much, but he would only do so, like I said, because it would be knowing that that it's going to put a strain on Russia, on Putin. So
Exactly. Artist Liz said that she's very worried about sleeper cells in New York City or wherever else happening around the big cities. Now, I've been for probably the last few months, and I know I've mentioned it several times, I've been picking up the feeling that something fairly major is going to happen in one of the big cities. I was always picking up something to the effect of like water systems getting messed with or electric grids getting knocked out. Um, but again, there could be various different ways that they could do anything wrong. And I know there are sleeper cells. I mean, I'm sure we have them in other countries just as much as they have them here in our country. That's how you get a lot of information sometimes on things going on. But it's kind of scary to think about. I can understand why a lot of people get freaked out about it because it's like somebody that you may know that you think are a certain kind of people, and then come to find out they're not like that at all. So,
I,
um,
I'm sure there's sleeper cells here, but you know, um, and I do see, terrorist acts, yes, but I think a lot of those terrorist acts are going to be, American citizens, that are ultra right wing Trumpsters doing it against just regular folks, like all the mass
yeah,
shootings, those people were all Trumpsters. So I'm not, I am
just
concerned
about
about.
every mass shooting we've had in the last 10 years has been somebody from the right. I mean,
That's right. I mean, I'm concerned about terrorist cells, but I'm more concerned about the mass shootings
yeah.
and how we still haven't done anything to stop that.
Well, and that's just it. It's like everybody's just supposed to shrug it off like it's no big deal that we've got crazed lunatics going into elementary schools and taking out children or walking into shopping malls and just shooting the place up. It's scary, and it's like instead of dealing with the issue at hand, the solution has always been, well, just hand out more guns. Well, yeah, that's done a lot of good, hasn't it? I mean, so
That's
it's
that's like saying we live in a fire zone and everything's dry due to climate change, so hand out more matches.
right, right.
Sherry,
And then
people
you
are
walk
asking.
up and down the street and just strike your matches and throw them in the wind.
There you go. Sherry, people are asking in the chat what happened to your hand.
Oh, I sprained my wrist over the weekend. I don't know how I did it. I don't remember hitting it on anything, or I woke up Saturday, it was hurting. I woke up Sunday and it was really hurting. And so my son dug his wrist brace out, and I've been wearing it since yesterday to just keep myself from flexing it or moving it around.
I think
Because,
they're asking about the other hand with the
oh,
band-aid.
the other hand, I whacked it on something at work and like uh, put a big cut on the back of my hand. So
Ooh.
I was doing something and I hit the edge of where the little metal striker plates come out on the door frame.
Oh,
I hit my hand on the damn striker plate and it was like, yow.
I can
And
feel that.
fortunately, I had great big band aids at work. I've got like a whole a first aid center in my office because I'm usually the one that's having to use it. Y'all, I'm a klutz. I'm telling you, I walk into walls, I trip over my own 2 feet. If there's anything sharp that can cut me, I'm going to be the one to find it. It just goes without saying. It's always like I'm already down one handed because this one's on a brace. And then I turn around this afternoon and I bash the back of my hand and cut it. And so I'm like, well, Jesus, I'm just a mess. What else is new, right? Um,
Can we put Old Windwalker up? It's about buying non-perishable food. I don't know if you. There we
yeah,
go.
yeah, yeah. Should I or when should I buy non-perishable food for myself and kids and families? Does everyone need to? I've been saying this to everybody for a year now to start stocking up on non-perishables, um, to start keeping, take $5 or $10 a week out of your whatever your budget is, and just start stashing a little cash. Don't tell anybody you have it or where you've hidden it, but it's like if and the picture that Spirit kept giving me was like the ATMs going down and the banks closing and people not being able to access their money. And and so I've just been telling people, just start stashing a little cash. You don't need a fortune, but just enough that if something weird happens, you can put gas in your car, or you can go get milk and bread for your kids to
I'll tell
eat.
you a funny story.
You know,
I had some pasta. I stock up on it when it's on sale, not because of war. I just stock up on it, right?
yeah,
And nuts because whatever. So I had a pantry full of stuff, and some of it was past the expiration date. So Gary cleaned it out. I'm like, what happened to all the pasta and everything I had? What was past the expiration date? I said, Gary, pasta doesn't go bad. If it's not cooked, it stays forever. And I
yeah.
said, and the nuts don't go bad. They stay forever. They were in sealed bags. He's like, oh, so you
Well,
can't keep this stuff. The only thing is, I am not going to get that paranoid about it. I
no,
do have a pantry only because I like to cook, and I've
yeah,
got it full. The thing is, you know, um, you can have all the non-perishables in the world, but you have to have water to cook them with. So, and if you stock up
or
on,
power to turn the burner on.
well, you can have an outside charcoal grill or gas grill, but sooner or later that's going to run out.
Exactly.
However, if you store water in plastic bottles for too long, you cannot get it near the sun. And even if they're in a dark area, the plastic starts to break down and it leaches
Yeah,
it out into the water, and you can't even taste it.
yeah,
So you
exactly.
store that stuff really too long. I mean,
Yeah, I don't see. I mean, I've never told anybody to like hoard things for years, but just to, if you go to the grocery store and they've got canned goods on sale, well, pick up a couple of extra cans and just stick them in the back of your pantry, and that way, if you need it, it's there.
a lot.
Growing up in the South on the Gulf Coast, we go through this every year. Usually, right around March is
Right,
when people start stockpiling batteries and
right.
water and toilet paper and canned goods, powdered goods, anything that's going to withstand a hurricane hitting, and you're without power for a few days, up to a few weeks, depending on the damage. And you still got to eat and whatnot, feed your kids and brush your teeth and all that kinds of fun stuff. So it's kind of it's a regular activity. Usually around the end of March, they start doing little ads on TV reminding people, stock up now and get your sheets of plywood bought and measured out for your windows so that if a storm's coming, you've already got your wood. You can just go pop it up on the window and nail it in place. And So it's just a fact of life down here. My grandmother used to always say, prepare for the worst and hope for the best. And
Rose Blue tickles me. She says, Texas Republicans so crooked, if they swallow nails, they spit out corkscrews. I love that. That is the
and she should know because she's right smack dab in the middle of a really red area.
I
So
could do my southern accent on that and say, well, they're so crooked, if they swallowed nails, they'd spit out corkscrews.
that's
That
a
is
great
so,
one too.
the one thing that I do miss about the South, I miss a lot. I don't miss some of the attitudes, but I do miss the food. Well, I make Southern food, but I miss, the sayings because they're so colorful. And a lot of my one-liners was from growing up in the South, and they're so
Yeah,
descriptive and funny and colorful. And thank you for sharing that, Rose. I think we all needed a good laugh.
absolutely. Absolutely. Let's see, there was another one, Puppy Dog Diesel. I like that name. Will the Senate block the bill to open copper mining in boundary waters in Minnesota?
I see it passing, but I see it going to court, and the court's overturning it. I could be wrong.
Yeah. Um,
Well, the big companies are going to say, "Well, we need it for for defense supplies. We need it for this." Oh, BS! They need it so they can line their pockets.
yeah. Just like the when he started the mess with Iran, and I know somebody had asked me about it. I said, well, I said it's not very smart when you think about it because we've got a finite amount of bombs and bullets and whatnot that you use in a war, and we have no means of making more without going to another country to have them make it for us. And most of the countries that make that stuff for us, he's pissed off, so they're not going to do it for out of the goodness of their heart. I said, so it's kind of dumb if you ask me. I said, one of the things that who was it, Truman or Eisenhower, that pushed real hard for after World War II was to build up the manufacturing base so that if we ever got in that kind of situation again where we're in a major war, at least we can supply our own jeeps and bombs and whatnot that we need, and not have to rely upon an outside country to
The,
bring it
the,
into us.
the
So
thing about this is that Trump went in willy nilly. I think Netanyahu wanted it. But the Israeli people are going to go against Netanyahu and protest in the streets because they don't want their kids killed. They don't want their cities bombed, you know,
exactly,
but nor do
exactly.
the Iranians. But I can see, um, um, the thing is, Netanyahu wanted it. The whole thing was a diversion from the Epstein files, and to try to control the elections, the midterm, because that's one thing that Trump is really afraid of, the elections, because he knows if
Yeah,
he loses, his ass is grass and the Democrats are the lawnmowers. Pardon my-
absolutely. That's why they're doing everything they can to.
But when he went into Iran, had they attacked us, that would have been a different story. But he went in, oh, we're going to do this, we're going to do that, without no strategy, without no plan for exit. And he criticized Joe Biden about Biden's exit from Afghanistan. And yet Trump's going into places like Venezuela, pulling out their leaders, no strategic plan in place for those countries or for Iran. And
Yeah,
then it's like, wait a minute, do you think you're going to defeat them and then you guys can get the contracts to rebuild them? I mean, another issue is why he's there. He's making money on this war. Don't kid yourselves.
yeah, yeah,
Uh,
absolutely.
got no exit strategy. It's like, wow. I don't think
Well,
I
he
think
doesn't
this.
think it through. It's like he gets this light bulb that goes off that says, do this. And so he runs right out and does that, but he doesn't think it through about how am I going to pay for it? How am I going to supply our guys with it? How are we going to exit out of it depending on the outcome?
It's not making the world a safer place. Like
no, he's not. He's making it worse.
It's making it. It could incite. I don't see a third world war, but all these regional conflicts are going to grow unless he does something. He's destabilizing the entire Middle East, and a lot of Middle Eastern countries that were for Donald Trump have now gone against him and say, "Wait a minute, you told us if we gave you this money and this, and that, all that money, that you would not, have a war in the Middle East, and you went against everything you said." Well, they knew they were dealing with a rattlesnake. What can I tell you?
Yeah.
Trump breaks his word on everything. Why does this surprise them so much?
That's what I don't understand. When I'll hear some of the pundits or whatnot that will be like, well, and I can't believe he just out lied to us about whatever the topic may be. And I'm like, what planet have you been on? That's all he's ever done is lied to everybody about everything.
Were you paying attention when you drank the Kool-Aid,
Thank you. I mean,
Wendy Schneider says something here. Thank you, Wendy. Hoi An is as beautiful as Halong Bay and Hanoi, where you get the best food in the old city. Thank you. I take it that she's been to Vietnam. This tour will go to Vietnam. We'll tour Vietnam, and then we'll fly to Laos. We'll tour a little bit of Laos, get on the boat, come down the Mekong River, stop in Cambodia, see Angkor Wat, and end up in Vietnam, and then tour another area of Vietnam. So it's going to be an incredible trip. I've talked.
Yeah, that would be an amazing trip to take.
Oh, Wendy, thank you for sharing that.
Absolutely.
I'm looking here.
Yeah, I'm trying to catch up.
People are asking about sleeper cells, but I think we
pretty much covered that earlier when we talked about it. So
Jeffrey Stein wants to know if the orange felon will be gone in March. I see the number 3, but it's hard for psychics to tell exactly when it's going to happen, but it will happen.
I've never been the one to get dates. It's just doesn't really come up with me when I do readings. But as most of y'all know, every day during the week, Monday through Friday week, I do a lunch break reading, political reading, just whatever's kind of going on that morning or something that I hear about. I do a quick little 6-card draw. It takes me 10, 15 minutes. I do it when I go out on my lunch break. And for a solid 3.5 weeks, almost every day when I did a drawing, I would get the Chariot, the Death card, and one of either the Emperor, the Empress, the Magician. So it was like they consistently kept coming up, but especially the Death card. It just almost daily it was coming out. And I was like, okay, are you trying to tell me that this guy is really getting ready to check out? Or is there something else going on that I'm not picking up on? It just feels to me like it just keep feeling to me like it's not going to be that much longer. Now, I don't know if he's going to be transition check out or just completely there's nothing left in the brain check out.
My guidance have shown me for a long time dark clouds around his head area for a couple of years, and that his health is really not good. So, I mean, I don't know what takes him out. I just know he won't finish out his full term as president. And if Shady Vance becomes president, he won't last long because I see impeachment. There's one thing. Can I just touch on this? You don't have to put it up. Innocent Potato brought up a good point. She said some conspiracy theories are correct. The killing of Abraham Lincoln was definitely conspiracies, I recall. But Innocent Potato, there's a difference between a conspiracy and a conspiracy theory. A conspiracy is when a group of people get together and come up with a plan to have a certain act, like or a certain person puts their mind around doing a certain act, like John Wilkes Booth. I don't know if it was a conspiracy, but murdered Abraham Lincoln. A conspiracy theory is different. Conspiracy theories are like, example, they're shooting us with laser beams from outer space and whatever.
The Israelis are shooting, the Jewish people are shooting.
I mean, you check your facts. So there's a difference between a conspiracy and conspiracy theory. We could say that Trump and Netanyahu conspired to bomb Iran with missiles. That's a conspiracy.
Right, exactly.
Theory would be trying to explain why they did it. But conspiracy theories are usually way, way out there somewhere.
Yeah, I've always looked at conspiracy theories as just, it's like get a room of kindergartners and put them in a circle,
right,
and then you tell the first one secret, one sentence, and then they're supposed to whisper it to the next one, the next one, the next one. And by the time it comes around full circle to the first kid again, it's a completely different animal. I mean, it's nowhere near what the actual sentence or phrase was that was first told around the circle. And so I think we see a lot of that. Somebody sees or hears something that maybe it's somebody speculating on a possible outcome, or somebody thinks, well, I saw such and such doing this, that, or the other. I wonder what they're up to, for it to, within a day or two, to completely grow its own set of teeth and become something major.
Well,
we've all watched this happen throughout history.
Here's a good example. I think it's people's way of trying to explain something that we all have a hard time understanding.
Yes.
Like, some sort of just, something that blows your mind. Like, for example, the Kennedy assassination.
I was just thinking about that. Yeah.
There were all kinds of conspiracy theories out there. Do I think that Oswald acted alone? Absolutely not.
No, there are still conspiracy theories about it to this day.
Exactly, because it's a way to try to explain things. Now, some of them are plants for misinformation,
right?
And so you have to be careful with all of that. So there is a difference between a conspiracy and a conspiracy theory. A conspiracy theory is a theory trying to explain something, trying to explain a conspiracy, if that makes any sense.
Yeah, I mean, so many people don't understand the subtle differences between the two, because they're kind of basically, there are a lot of conspiracy theories that have gone around in the past that, when all was said and done and all the facts come out, people kind of step back and go, "Oh, wow, okay, they were kind of right about that." That wasn't.
Let's say Mary Jane and Jimmy Bob, and who knows, come up with an idea to rob a bank. They all conspire to rob the bank.
Right.
Conspiracy theory would be the theory that people would put together as to why they robbed that bank. So conspiracy theory might say they had implants put in their head and somebody made them do it. That would be a conspiracy theory.
Right. It's usually stretching. Stretching the facts to try to make it make sense, or to make yourself feel more important, like you have information that nobody else has,
or to try to explain something that we think, why did that happen?
Yeah, exactly. So there's just so many different reasons why people,
right.
And for a lot of people, it's salacious. They get a thrill out of it. It's like studying a murder mystery or a cold case. I mean,
people like headlines. We all do.
Exactly. And we all want to be the one that maybe put something out there and then it turns out to be true. Right. Well, now everybody's looking at you because, how did you know that was true?
Right. We have somebody watching from Australia, Janelle. Hi, Janelle.
Oh, welcome, Janelle.
She says, "Take care all and stay strong and find something to chuckle about each day." We are. My guides have told me to tell people in Australia, even in Canada. Well, Canada has Carney now, who stood up to Trump. Good, but that what happened here could very easily happen there. I'm not saying it will. But if you're listening from Canada and from Australia and from the UK and from all the democratic countries, never, ever, ever take your democracy for granted, because the same thing could happen to your country would happen here. And, people used to say that, and I thought, oh, that could never happen here. And it wasn't a psychic thing. It was just that, oh, it wouldn't happen ever. Well, here we are. And so never take it for granted and always let your voice be heard.
Exactly. I saw maybe a 45-second clip from an interview over in England with Prince William, and the interviewer had asked him something about Trump, and Prince William was pretty much to the point and very frank about good leadership versus bad leadership, and doing things for the betterment of your country as opposed to doing things that are going to put money in your pocket, and that the world does not need more kings. We need, to cherish our democratic societies and however they're set up, but they're set up so that the people can choose for themselves. But he said several times during the little clip that I watched that we don't need more kings. And I know there have been quite a few psychics over the years who have said that he'll be the last king of England. And maybe that's true and maybe that's not. I don't know. I've not been shown that one way or the other. But I do appreciate the fact that while it has always kind of been the monarchy's standard to not say real political statements, to kind of keep their nose out of it, stay above the fray. The one thing I've always appreciated about Prince William is that, and this has happened several times over the years, where he just flat out, boom, says it. He doesn't take it back, and he doesn't apologize for it. He's like, no, that's how I feel. And he didn't do it very much when Queen Elizabeth was still here, but after she passed, he started speaking his mind.
And he's going to continue to speak his mind.
And he's going to continue to speak his mind. I think Catherine has had a big effect on him on that, of speaking up for the truth.
I think Catherine is so cool. She's going to make the best queen consort.
I'm telling you, she is.
Between her and Camilla. Camilla the bulldog. Ugh. But I want to tell you something. Kate is going to be excellent. She already is.
Oh yeah, she's already excellent. But I've always, from the first time I can remember, seeing her in the tabloids when she and William were dating, kind of on again, off again dating. And the tabloids would make fun of her and, all this kind of stuff. And she just went on about her business. She would pretty much just step around them and keep on going. She never responded, never did anything. And in the beginning, I know a lot of the press were kind of cruel towards her because she wasn't royalty. She was truly a commoner. And it didn't take long for their attitudes to change as soon as she kind of got there and started doing her own thing. And so, I like the fact that she and William lived together for like 7 years, I guess it was, because he wanted to be sure that she understood exactly what kind of life she was stepping into. Because as I had heard him say, I was born in it. It's all I've known is this is how things are. But for someone that's never been born in it or around it, to get thrown into that kind of fishbowl can break the best of folks. Even though they think they're going to do fine, it can really do damage. And he was just wanted to be so sure that she could handle it, not for his sake, but for her sake. And I think the fact that because they have such a close relationship with her parents, who were the model of a, a loving, functioning home without all of the rigmarole that he grew up with. They say that's why he's always been so close to her parents because he felt like this was what a real family's supposed to look like, and
Well, I'll tell you, she's incredible. We got time for just one more because I got to run. But
sure.
Rose Blue wants to know, Montana's 2 GOP have quit. Can't say that I blame them. They ain't running this year. Can't say that I blame them. Will Montana be purple or blue? I see them going purple.
Yeah, I do too. I see a lot of states going purple or at least lavender, if not full purple. They're going to be leaning purple. Um, my state included in that.
Yeah, and what I
Because,
see coming for the Democratic Party is, and even with the Republicans or the MAGAs, well, the Trump's base would be Trump's base, but the MAGAs are going to pull away from them. But I see in the very near future a time when this country is not going to be run or ran by white, bigoted old men or middle-aged men.
yeah,
And, the Marco Rubios and the Ted Cruzes and the Donald Trumps and the Steve Millers and the Steve Bannons, the Kash Patels and the female versions, they're going to be gone.
yeah,
And I see fiery, younger people coming up to the plate and winning. You know,
absolutely.
I
Um,
stand corrected with Tallarico on today's show. They said that he went against candidates getting money from billionaires, but yet he receives some. But still, he's grassroots, and
yeah,
I like him. I think how he defined what Christian ultra right wing nationalist. They're not Christian. He said Jesus is not a bigot or Jesus is not
yeah,
racist. That love your neighbor, love yourself. I like that. I think he
yeah,
can. I think he can keep politics separate from religion, albeit he's going to be a Presbyterian minister. My point is, but like people like Jasmine Crockett, people like AOC, people that are really going to come up
Eric Swalwell's another one. Yeah.
exactly and not sit back on their duffs and speak
And
up. And so I see a new order of politics coming in this country where younger people are going to be looking at the issues at hand, like climate change,
yeah,
and all the other things we need to look at, and not wag the dog like Trump does.
absolutely, absolutely.
So that's what I see coming.
Yeah, no, I agree. I
And it'll
agree.
be amazing how many Republicans will disavow themselves also from Trump and from that little Trump base. But still it's going to bite a lot of them in the rear end. I can tell you that right now.
Yeah,
So
yeah. No, I agree. I mean, there are so many balls in the air right now of things going on. I think it's really important that people take a little extra time to thoroughly vet who's running for office to get an idea of who it is and what they stand for, um, and be willing to speak out about it. If somebody asked you, well, who are you going to vote for? Well, tell them who you're going to vote for and tell them why. Maybe you can change their mind. Maybe not, but the point being is we can't keep hiding in the closet and not standing up for what we believe in. Um, I think that's really important right now is folks being honest about where they stand on certain issues and not allowing those around them, be it friends, family, coworkers, whatever, to talk you into being silent because it's not what they believe. Well,
Correct.
okay,
I see
you
Vincent Worm.
believe what you want to believe, but
I see Vincent Worm in the house. Hi, Vince. A lot of people. Cassie Lake from. I want to. If we can end on this one, Sherry, it's up to you. But I like this one. View from Canada seems as though you all are in a soft civil war to the south of us. So sad to see the U.S. so divided. Yes, I've often said we are kind of in a bloodless civil war, and Trump wants the chaos. He wants the dissension. He
he thrives on it.
he wants a separation because he can say, I'm fixing it. He thrives on it. For Trump, good press or bad press is the same to him. It still puts his name in the spotlight.
And he thrives on the chaos. The more he can have everybody all wound up and going in 20 directions at once, the happier he is. I mean,
makes him feel important. You know, we are in a constitutional crisis. Trump and his cronies get the middle finger to the court, and it's going to get worse with the constitutional crisis and all that before I can see it getting better. But remember, this reign of terror and tyranny will soon end.
Absolutely.
And so
Absolutely.
we'll get through this dark night of the soul. So thank you, Cassie, for sharing that.
Yes, very much so. Uh, I've been saying that for quite a while now. It's going to get darker before it gets better, but it is going to get better, and it's going to be. I think we need to go through this darkness in order to realize the importance of the light and how important it is for everybody to participate in it. Um, there used to be a real drive for people to vote, to be involved in the voting process, and then
now they're voting.
Somewhere along the lines between Nixon and Obama in that phase, people got convinced that, yeah, well, my vote doesn't really count. Why bother? And so they didn't show up to vote. So the people that got voted in were usually the ones that were the worst person for the job. And I think enough people are actually waking up at this point to say, wait a minute, my vote does count. I need to get out there and make my voice heard, and that makes a huge difference for people.
People ask about Minnesota, and when Trump pulled the one guy out of Minnesota and put him somewhere else and got rid of Kristi Noem and put Home in there, it was like, wait a minute, that's just optics. They have not left Minnesota.
Yeah, they haven't changed anything.
Nothing's changed because Rothschild says, when will the idiots leave Minnesota? They keep bringing new vehicles into whip by the carrier load multiple times a day. Absolutely. And so, if anything, behind the scenes, they're ramping up, not wrapping up, but ramping up.
Yeah.
Revving up operations in Minnesota and other places. And the people will continue to stand up against them. So,
yeah, for sure.
Anyway, Sherry, it was a wonderful show. Thank you.
Thank you. Sorry, y'all, that Arthur wasn't here tonight. He had a eye appointment that he wasn't going to get out in time to get across town and back into his apartment. I was like, yeah, don't worry about it. So he's probably like me, comes back from an eye appointment, can't see anything anyway.
Right. You're like,
blind as a bat by the time you get out of there. So Mel and I will be back in a couple of weeks on the 23rd of
That's the day of
March.
your birthday.
That's right. That's right. We got your birthday is on the Sunday, the 22nd, and Arthur's is on the Tuesday, the 24th.
There you go.
So,
I like that.
so we got our birthday boys here, and then
There you
I
go.
was able to get
Aries
the
all the way.
information to someone who asked, "What size shirt does he wear?" And I'm like, "I don't know. I'll ask him to see." So,
Anyway.
so thank y'all for joining us tonight. We had at highest count I had was 761 in the chat.
Yay. So
So I was like, wow, that's a new number for me.
everybody subscribe to Sherry. Subscribe.
Thank you, thank you.
We
And
got to
to
make
Mel,
my prediction of 20,000 come true before the end of the year. So
that would be cool. That would be great. So
sweet.
thank you, everybody. Thank you, Mel, and we will see you in 2 weeks. All right. Bye for